Overweight hippie with sex problems. What sort of person talks like that? David Lee Roth, lead singer of Van Halen. And there's more where that came from, as Charles Rose found out.
Going out my way, on my way around, crashing and beating, and there's plenty around. The other girls see me put to shame over the edge, and I say, I need and heat up, and I know she's my name.
Roll over, Beethoven. This is Van Halen's here to strut about ominous 84. After all, George Orwell's not off limits to heavy metal. David Lee Roth is Van Halen's lead singer and leaper extraordinaire, but he's down to earth right now in our New York studio. Good evening, David.
Good evening, America.
Good evening, America. Why 1984, the name of the new album?
You read the book.
I read the book,
Hear the record. Now buy the T-shirts. It's more a statement of where Van Halen is at in 1984.
Where is Van Halen at?
I haven't the vaguest idea, but it's on the racks finally. It took us a year to make this new record, and it's still a week late, if that tells you anything about the way we run our business.
You mean no insightful answers about how Van Halen feels about 1984 and what he felt after reading Orwell's novel?
No, certainly. Van Halen is what is in behind the door in room 101.
Winston Smith incarnate, eh?
You bet, you bet. No, it's more of a statement of our times as what's happening with us, and what's more than that, what's not happening with us.
What is happening with the group?
Well, we're starting a brand new worldwide escapade, another Van Halen world vacation. We'll do the continental United States, and then we'll go to Europe, and then we'll do it to Japan, and if South America is still open, then we're going to go there.
They like you in Japan?
They love us in Japan. I don't think they understand the words exactly, but sometimes I have a difficulty with that myself.
You don't need to understand the words to enjoy your concerts.
A lot of it is body language.
Yeah. Is it a lot of it sex also?
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up. This is everything rolled into one. This is a lifestyle. This is a lot like a gypsy sort of foreign legion, and you've got to live your life as you normally would at home, which of course means the need to survive and the drive to procreate. And I try and include that in my music as well as my normal day-to-day lifestyle.
The drive to procreate in your normal lifestyle?
Yeah, well, that's sex and violence. I mean, it's certainly no different than the A-team is, except we're on a little piece of plastic with a hole.
Where is it going, do you think? I mean, where is it all? It's the question that all of us ask people like you, performers like you, who created a storm in terms of enthusiasm. Where is it going?
It's going to MTV.
Is it really?
And it's turning into a cross-faded double reverb fade out with slow motion. That's what's happening.
Is MTV the reason that the record business has rebounded?
I don't know. I think what's happening is there's some sort of reversal as far as the money being spent on records. There were a lot less records bought last year than there were this year. In fact, the rock music has certainly taken a big turn as far as sales of records, tickets, you name it. And Van Halen, of course, we had a leave of absence for the last year. We were out of touch. We were arguing and fighting over the new album. We run it rather like a democratic society, personally, which means when they disagree with me, I filibuster.
Taking music apart from you for a second, how would you describe 1983? I mean, it was the last concert, the Who's final tour, the beginning of superstardom for Boy George and the Culture Club.
Well, a lot of bands said goodbye to us, and they said this is the last tour. The Doobie Brothers told us, and the Who told us, and it seems like when you tell people, they sort of say, well, okay, next. Boy George came along. You've got to admire anybody who looks like that and sounds like that at the same time, and who knows where it's going. The video is having a lot to do with it, and of course people are becoming more theatrical. They're trying to become more dramatic, and you see people dancing from rooftops, singing about roofs more often, but I think it's just a matter of, I give it a 4 because you can dance to it, just like it was 10 or 20 years ago.
Dick Clark returns, huh?
Absolutely, never left.
Why MTV?
Well, everybody wants to get on the video scene, you know. Everybody wants to get that free publicity out there, you know. And now it's expanding. It's going wild. These massive budgets. There's like all the beer commercial people are getting involved, you know. And when Michael Jackson gets out on the TV and he goes, "I'm not like other guys." No, you ain't, Michael. You're rich.
As rich as they come. Why Jackson? That's a good point. Michael Jackson, clearly the superstar musician, entertainer in America today. Why his popularity?
Well, the kid can sing as well as dance and act it out and kind of bring a feeling to it. And a lot of the musicians that we see today have spent 10, 15 years in a bar doing 5 sets a night and 2 dance contests a week. And they never really kind of got beyond that. So they just sort of stand around, and you're forced to bring a variety of chorus dancers behind them and a lot of trick video techniques to sort of obscure the lack of movement that's on the screen there.
Yeah. Is image important to you? What image you project, David?
Oh, absolutely. An ounce of image is worth a pound of performance.
Is it really?
I think I have a lot of people have a mistaken image of Van Halen. Perhaps it's because I'm guilty of the sin of omission. I don't like to sit around and talk about how I just got done working out and my health salad, you know, and how I support yogurt. And a lot of people, a lot of bands have a very corporate image now, and they want you to know how they contrived something for you, and then they sold it to you. You know, it's like when you get a Christmas present, and somebody says, and it's something that you absolutely wanted, and then they say, "Well, you know, you're so predictable, Dave. You know, I know every move you're going to make. I know what you're going to think before you even think it, Bubba. And I just gave it to you because I knew it was the absolute best thing." And after a while, you start to think, well, maybe I don't want this present as much. I see that happening with a lot of bands as far as their image. Again, on the other hand, who would you rather go to lunch with? Louis Pasteur or Jesse James?
Louis Pasteur. We'll be
Wrong. You lost the trip for 2 to Hawaii.
Well, how about who would you rather go to lunch with, David Lee Roth or Michael Jackson? We'll be right back. Stay with us, David. Nightwatch continues. Stay with us.